Sometimes an unexpected awakening quickens the dark corner of our nature and for a moment renders attractive, as in a dream, something that would normally seem repulsive. To bask in such a light might dislocate the balance of the psyche already achieved, and might gradually poison all our habits and tastes. We should then acquire the mask of that vice in the public eye, and not merely, as perhaps we fancied, a philosophic understanding of that odd interest, really no less legitimate, for seeming at first exotic. In this way, the young of wild animals, that look so simple and innocent at birth, acquire the mask of ferocity, or watchfulness, or greed, a mask that bears witness to habits they have learned to adopt. How or why have they acquired these habits? Because they had organs capable of such employment, with suitable innate reflexes, often guided and stimulated by the example of their parents. Each tentative act, so prepared, has cast a ray of sunshine on a special image, and has withdrawn attention from any others, now become meaningless sensations. The keen eye waits for the chosen signals, the paw gathers itself tightly for the sudden blow. The young animal, that seems so plastic, has discovered his predestined path, without knowing where it will lead him. Lures and feats have been set for him under the guise of goods, and whatever evils they may entail, goods, supreme goods, exclusive goods, that will now appear to his captivated spirit. Mastery and narrowness will increase in him together. The habits which he has acquired as virtues have stamped upon him what seems to us a horrible mask of vice, not only in his strength, utterly cruel and blind to all alien goods, but the vital liberty which that strength seems to serve is a tragic liberty even for him. He is condemned to turn enslaved and tormented in an irrational treadmill. It is important to perceive, for our instruction, that this mask of vice, which makes us shudder, expresses virtue and concentration of will upon a recognized good. The animal psyche, that, as it developed its powers in contact with circumstances, unwittingly fashioned that mask, was bent upon a predatory life. It saw its victims, as it devoted its attention to its young or to its mate, as objects of immediate categorical value, goods to chase and devour, or acts to perform and repeat at all costs. But the first set of these actions were wicked, and that the second set, virtuous, does not hold for that psyche. Both actions are expressions equally of primal will and vital liberty. Both are equally virtuous within the compass of that life. For life itself, the will of the psyche, and its operation, is not a good, but only the fountain and organ of both good and evil, and the seat of their contrary character. Good and evil, in a dumb, unquestioned immediacy, exist for the beasts. They are moral creatures vitally, though not intellectually, and their vital virtue creates a genuine moral criterion for their lives, which we can appreciate in their strength, ingenuity, courage, and beauty. Yet those virtues, divorced from transcendent reason and justice, seem vices to us. In themselves, however, they remain virtues even in us, only that for us, who are inwardly called to be just, reasonable, and intelligent, those virtues are subordinated or forbidden. And when we see them dominant in the bold mask worn by a beast, that mask seems to us hideous, because it would be morally hideous in a man. Even in the beast, it is sometimes intrinsically and painfully ugly, when the species to which it belongs has not attained a happy harmony in its constitution, but is overloaded and embarrassed by its own organs. Yet usually, what repels us in natural monsters is not their own constitutional trouble, but only the malice and ferocity that their aspects suggest in preying on other creatures. That death should feed on life, and life on the death of other life, is the first law of existence as we find it on earth. and may accept and admire such alternation easily enough in the inanimate sphere. Yet it saddens us when we read an irrational hostility of one living psyche to another. This is a human error. Psyches, or forms of life, bear no hatred or ill will towards other psyches. They simply have no imagination until they develop a high social and cooperative way of living. Even then, sympathy is very partial in any living creature, for cooperation cannot safely extend beyond those natural processes with which one's own life is allied. And sympathy without cooperation is merely aesthetic and perfunctory. All integrated psyches are virtuous, and their natural masks are masks of virtue, as we readily feel in regard to the mineral and vegetable kingdoms. Stars and flowers differ from one another in glory, but animals possessing initiative necessarily have an optative or militant side. They have, and feel that they have, a standard of achievement and right behavior, and whatever falls short of this or contravenes, it excites their contempt or hatred. Their possessive ethos makes them blind to the virtue of contrary vocations. This intolerance survives in man insofar as he is more vital than rational. Fine art might seem to be a sphere in which alien gifts or standards would surely be respected, but not at all. The mask of virtue in a classical Greek head seems to a realist or futurist dullness and deadness personified, and the pink and gold sweetness of demure images in the style of Saint Sulpice turns his stomach. For him, both are masks of vice, not only in taste or in ideologies. His militant spirit detests and wishes to annihilate them. Obviously, this happens only because he is insecure in his own virtue and dissatisfied with the social authority he possesses, which is casual and transitory, like the vogue of Greek heads or simpering Madonnas. But his animal zest will not bear competition. The vital egoism of the psyche prevents him any intellectual self-transcendence, and absorption in certain chosen masks of life keeps him from sympathy with its groping universal energy. I have spoken of masks of virtue, but can the visible aspect and traces of true virtue be called a mask? Evidently not, unless the mobility of life has been arrested and a special dominant character has been imposed on all movement and feeling, as if the possibility of anything different had been uprooted from the psyche, and the occasion of anything different had been banished from the world. Virtue, so imposed, will wear a mask, as in the Carthusian. Not that this is not a genuine virtue in itself, but that, by making that virtue so inhumanly dominant, a militant faith has closed eyes, ears, and mouth in order to listen undisturbed to an inner music. In a man of the world, on the contrary, various virtues and vices may exist, but he will wear the mask of none of them. Some of these virtues and vices may be known to his neighbors, others unknown, but discretion will keep any of them from appearing out of season in his talk or in his demeanor. For it is only occasionally that those virtues or vices will be congruous with the matter in hand, or with the company in which he finds himself. Then, for a while, without losing his self-control, he may indulge them without offense. But once the occasion is past, or the company changed, he must not show any displeasing traces of those episodes, and must lend himself, as far as possible, to the dominant mood of the world. A radical potentiality for sympathy with all virtues and all vices belongs to primal will in every creature, but the direction and the degree in which such sympathy shall become actual is a question of contingent endowment and opportunity. Reason demands integrity, but integrity may be thin when there is little in the psyche to integrate, or it may hold in suspense and harmony a great wealth of motives. The perfect actor can play all kinds of parts. God can forgive all sinners and provide distinct mansions. discreetly spaced, for all sorts of saints. Yet, as for God, all finitude is impossible in his own person. So for a good actor, there is no danger of such immersion in any of his dramatic parts that the passion in it should storm the citadel of his inner commonwealth. His genius keeps always present in the background the partiality of each virtue and the disaster of each vice. He therefore requires the mask of none of his stage characters. His own figure shows only the plasticity, the precision, and the discretion of the artist.